Rock band launches house party tour to protest pricey arena shows.
So now you got something brand new that you needed to get out.
Isn't it not like a regular rock band? Aren't they like famous?
Don't you?
Okay, just play the...
Call these sets house party tours. It's a surprise pop-up concert. There's a number of them. They're free. They've taken place in non-traditional settings, including a bowling alley.
Very nice. The band says it's their answer to overpriced venues that are pushing music lovers away because fans can no longer afford the cost of soaring concert tickets.
I think a good comparison for this is Europeans. Did you know that the American sports scene is awful, in large part because for the big games, no one can afford to show up unless you're super wealthy? Like, I know for a fact that over in Europe, when you're watching your football, that's your football matches, you know, people for their hometown game, people just show up. I don't know what it costs to get in. A euro? I have no idea. People just show up there. They look like they just got off work, you know? But over in America, it's like, oh, you know, Ticketmaster something. You can't step foot in these buildings for less than $200 sometimes. And it's a whole process getting there. It's kind of like that with music shows. Seattle's got a really good music scene. I'm not a big music guy. I show up at the venue sometimes. I show up and somebody's like, holy shit, is that Vosh? And I'm like, yep, just out with my friends. And they're like, dude, that's crazy that I would meet you here. And I'm like, yep, I live in Seattle.
A recent report showed that the average ticket price for the top 100 tours back in 1996 was $25.81, or about $52 adjusted for inflation.
Sheesh.
In 2024, the average ticket price is up to $135.92. Tyson Ritter, frontman for the All-American Rejects, joins us now live. Tyson, great to have you on. Where did this idea...
I'm sorry. He's so hot in like a grungy 90s, early 2000s way. You know what I mean? It's like filtered through.
For a house party tour come about?
They don't make people with hair like this anymore, you know? Now it's all like undercuts and Hitler Youth shit and like broccoli cuts or whatever. They don't make this phenotype anymore. I will never understand male attraction. You don't get this? Okay, whatever. You lesbians are insufferable. By the way, if there were homos in chat and there was like Angelina Jolie on screen or something, and they were like, I'll never get being attracted to women, I would make fun of them too. So it's not lesbophobia, though you are more annoying than gay men. So it is lesbophobia.
Hey, thanks for having me. The idea it was born out of just a real pure, intentional moment of like, let's go have fun and get back to the way we started when we started touring with this band in a van. And it was thrust from the lips of our new manager, Megan, who's a 29-year-old genius, who said,
thrust from the lips.
I want to put you guys at house parties again. And we did one at USC a couple weeks ago, and it felt like, you know, this pure connection to the spirit of what rock and roll and that whole like...
As a straight cis man, Angelina Jolie is a terrible example. Remember earlier when I said I couldn't name a single woman? That was, honest to God, the first woman I thought of when I thought, who's the hot lady with the giant tits who's in Mad Men? Christina Hendricks, thank you.
Undenominational gathering of a love for music.
Sydney Sweeney, are you like, okay, you just heard tits and you said Sydney Sweeney? That's more sexist than anything I've done today. Sydney Sweeney was not in Mad Men.
Can create, and it's been gone for a long time. For us, at least, 30 feet away up on an ivory tower, it's hard to connect to an audience, and this was a way to kind of embrace that spirit again.
Well, the reaction has just been huge. Have you been surprised at all by that?
Surprised? I have been humbled and completely shut down.
They don't make guys like this anymore, man. They don't make them like this. They broke the mold.
I don't know. We went out with 12 people on a sardine can steel horse of a bus. We put 50 grand of our own money together and said, let's just take a bet on people coming. And I mean, this is a crew that is sleeping on top of each other. They're all younger than us, and they're hungry. They're setting up these stages. They're catching shoes, hitting me, coming so close to knocking my teeth out as people are crowd surfing. in this rite of passage moment for this Gen Z crowd, we are beside ourselves. We are rocking and rolling right now, man. This is the dream.
How do you go about picking a venue, and how much do the neighbors come into consideration? Because I imagine you can't play too late. You might get the
Pop-up concerts need to be more popular. I just think we need to go back to more local culture. I think it's a real issue that everyone consumes like the national culture. Because of social media, everyone's like following what's going on at national level. So it's like, well, what do you pay attention to? Oh yeah, well, there's this one movie, you know, and then there's a band, but they're playing in the other side of the country and like da-da-da. It, like, you know, it's also disconnected. You know, people need to like show up at local shit. How does anyone get discovered unless you do that anyway, right? Like, how do you, if you don't show up for local shit, how do you know what you like, or how does anyone pop the off, you know? I don't know. Yeah, the national monoculture, really, it deprives people, I think. New York and LA being the only culturally relevant places in our entire country is poison. Yeah, we need to learn from other countries, man. Like, in other parts of the world, there are small towns that still have, like, a vibrant local culture, you know?
cops called on you.
Well, we did in Mizzou. We got the cops called on us. It was their graduation day, just by the fates. And the cops came. They shut us down before we played our last song, and I walked out,
Cool.
and my guitarist, oh, bless him, he just goes, boo, and the crowd went feral. And I walked up to the cop and I said, hey, buddy, I said, listen, if you want these kids to get out of here peacefully, you better let us play one song. And he goes, oh man, I didn't know it was you guys. I love you. Go play. And I was like, and the crowd just went. It was just, it was evangelical.
I find
man.
this
It was
extremely
beautiful.
charming.
Well, so I imagine, I'm just thinking roughly the age that police officer could have been, right? Because for your music, for me, was very present in my mid-20s. I asked Boris, he said it was more high school for him.
yeah.
That's our
Okay,
age difference
Brianna.
here. But it's
Okay.
it was at a really important time in our lives that we were hearing a lot of you.
She's fangirling.
And I wonder for that police officer, I bet he was too. What was,
He was a
what,
baby. He was a baby.
Oh, was he?
Awesome.
Oh,
He
a
was just-
baby.
he didn't even have I don't even think the man had facial hair. God bless
That's
him.
amazing. Okay, well, Tyson, then to that point, I mean, is there a whole new sort of audience that you are picking up from this that's younger?
You know, it doesn't even, I wouldn't even say, of course, yeah, that's sort of been a byproduct of it. But I think for our band, we were, you know, the songs that had the band. When we
I don't like the framing of this. It's not about getting a younger audience or like coming back to relevance. I think it's about people's desire for more like intimate local settings that aren't like Ticketmaster concerts or whatever, you know? I think people want more like grungy garage band shit, you know? I don't, because I don't like loud noises. So I'm speaking kind of for other people, but I feel like a lot of people would love to go to an event like this, you know?
came up, we never really had the culture. We got lumped into this sort of definition of emo, and then when pop punk was a thing. But our songs were always sort of the driving force of the trajectory of our band. But now I feel like we're tying all the music together because we put it out through like a decade of the 2000s. So these kids that are coming and finding us for the first time, it feels like they get to discover, wow, there's this band that has all these great songs. And that I think has been the most humbling revelation of this. And
He
forgive me
does
too
look a
much
bit
to your
like a cult
question
leader.
before. The
Yeah.
criteria for these house parties, you have to have a pretty decent sized yard, I think. We're really avoiding major cities. I mean, we played a barn in Ames, Iowa, at this beautiful place called the Black Contemporary, and 5,000 people. It looked like the end of Field of Dreams. We had 4 miles of cars stretched out in every direction and
Jesus.
people running through cornfields. I mean, this is a cinematic experience in every word. And if you book it, they will come.
They will come. It sounds awesome. It looks amazing. I have one last question because we were speculating, and I'm hoping to get some clarity, not just for us, but for fans and listeners. What is the song My Dirty Little Secret about? Who is it about? Can you clarify?
All right, that's enough. I don't want to hear about the My Dirty Little Secret of a 2000s rock star. It's okay. Concert. I've actually always loved All American Rejects. I recognize the song they played at the beginning, but I don't know if I could like name any of their songs. This is like every 2000s movie we grew up on, how graduation would look like. I'm high-key jealous. Yeah. I mean, media like tries to paint a story about, how do you put it? I don't know. It seems weird to me that in an era where the main thing people seem to crave is perceived authenticity, to the point where like live streamers and podcasters are cultural influencers beyond like mainstream news, that in like the sports and music venue scene, things have creeped further and further towards inauthenticity. At least in terms of like presentation or how you engage with the media. I don't know. It could just be a limitation of the national culture, right? Because you can only do so much like authenticity with Lady Gaga or whatever, you know. You can't be doing like garage shows when you're that big. People would kill you. I don't know. You should have gone to Streamer University. Isn't that a Kai Cenat thing? How's that going? Is it like the Hunger Games? What are they doing over there? He had a Nazi come on and praise Kanye. Good, good. Was it a Blotzi or a Nazi? The new country trend might kill me. I think this goes in line with my gatekeeping thing. I think it's okay that if a person's into country music, that you shame them and hate them and don't interact with them. Because I've heard country music, okay? Woody Guthrie's okay? We're not talking about Woody Guthrie, okay? You know what the we're talking about. We're talking about the new shit. Anything made in the past, I don't know, what, 20 years, okay? And say pop country. Oh, sorry. Pardon me for not distinguishing between what everyone understands country to sound like and like shit made 50 years ago. F you. You know perfectly goddamn well what I'm talking about.